Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Ganasadusham Tatvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, thank you so much for coming today. We'll just give a few minutes, about 5 minutes, and then we'll start the session. We'll just wait for our friends. Once you're fine, everybody is come in your center. Please wave your hand so that I know everybody is ready in your center. Thank you. People, once they are here, we will start the webinar in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Nithyanandam, can people who are on the two-way, can you wave your hand if you can see me and hear me? Thank you. Singapore? Singapore, can you hear me and see me? Can't able to hear. Hong Kong? Is Hong Kong able to hear me? Camus? She's not able to hear me. She can see me. Okay. Okay, others are able to hear and see. New Zealand, are you able to hear me clearly? Great. Not on the phone. Okay, good. Singapore, now are you able to hear me? Great. Belgium, are you able to hear me? Great. Hong Kong, Camus, are you able to hear me, Maya? Hong Kong, 50-50. Does that mean 50-50? Oh, we are very good in sign language. Okay, we'll just give a few more minutes. I'm seeing a lot of people joining us now. Probably we'll give another 3-4 minutes and we'll start the session. In any case, if they're coming or not coming, we'll just give about 4 minutes. Thank you. Yeah, while we do that, we'll check the audio and make it much better. Thank you. Nithyananda, is Madhvait loud and clear now? Great. Okay. 50-50. Some are saying 50-50, some are saying good. There's one more option. There is one way also going on. So you can also open the one way for audio and two way for video. So you can try that also. Let's go ahead and start the session. We've given about 10 minutes. Yeah. Thank you very much for people who have come in integrity and waiting for past 10 minutes. It's very nice for waiting for our friends. They are pretty new and they're coming into the whole end parenting. That's why it's taking some time. Thank you very much. First, let me start with that. And last time we were speaking about the stubborn children. The stubborn children, how we can redirect them into right understanding and right thinking and being stubborn about that rather than the tantrum. We've been doing a lot of seminars on parenting and how you can handle these children in much more easy way rather than fight with them every day. Brushing the teeth is a problem, to doing the homework, waking them up, packing them to the school, or in case of teens, getting them to listen is all very difficult. So right now today we are going to be talking about how easily, I know the easy and the teen doesn't get together at all, but today we are going to get there, how easily you can connect to the teens and you will be able to really make the difference in their life, and how you can move them to do anything that you want to. It's very easy when we understand how they are groomed, how they are been building their identity, and how they are working with the world. When we understand those things clearly, we can easily, without fight and without all the rebel that we usually have with our parents when we are teen also, we will not have that rebel with our teen kids. It's very simple and very easy, but it's very tricky, you have to really understand the core concept. So I want your authentic listening today. Please be in listening so we can crack this puzzle, because this is one of the biggest problem. If you see, India, 50%, 50% are under 25-year-olds. And we have about 200 million kids who are in teenage just in India. And if we do not groom them in the right path, what will happen? Because they are energetic, they have the full thought flow, what they need to create, and they want to do something. They have like 200 monkey power. So that's what they have. And with that, they can either take off or land up in a huge destructive problem, and the whole world will be in big chaos and destruction. So it's very important that we understand this today. It's not just our household issue, it's a global issue where we are not able to manage, especially when we hit that 16 or 17. It's just not possible. They don't want to listen to anything we say. And it gets really difficult that we have to literally have a war in the house every day to get things done, even for the basic thing. They don't want to get up, they don't want to go to school, they don't want to study, they just want to be on the gaming machine, they want to be with the hanging around the fence, having a girlfriend, and on the YouTube, on the Facebook, and continuously a struggle between the parent and the child. And this is what goes on, and the parent gets totally frustrated, the kid gets more irritated and violent, and they start rebelling and start taking direction that we don't want. It's very difficult handling when it hits the 16 and 17. And most of the parents have said, "Mom, my son is only 10 and 12 years and still he is behaving like a teenager. It's very difficult for me to handle them." Why is it so? What is missing? We were much better when we were teens with our parents. We had a rebel, but this is not the stage that we showed to our parents. But it's getting more and more difficult, more and more impossible for us to handle them. So first, before we take up this big puzzle, it's a max formula that we have to really derive to the conclusion. So first, what we'll do, categorize. Okay, we'll categorize as a level 1, level 2, and level 3 teenagers. What I mean by level is the rebel, they are intense, how much they are cooperating, so that we can handle them in appropriate way. So I would say a level 1 as just not listening kids, but who's following the regular routine, going to the school, taking up studies. At least they are into doing what they need to do, but the listening from the parents is like very less. There is no listening. So I would categorize this as a very nice teens where they are cooperating with the parents. So this is the best you can get. If you're just in that space, be happy, you have a beautiful teenager. Okay, this is the first level, I would say. Level 2, the influenced by friends into wrongdoing, starting to have games as their time pass, or they are in the fantasy world of YouTubes and Facebooks, having so many friends. They are just into, not just listening, but they're not doing the regular activity which is need to be functionable. Like, for example, studying, going to the school properly, not bunking the school, taking proper food, proper routine, the basic things. If they're not doing, I would say they are the category true, which are influenced by friends. The third category, which is a very dangerous category, which we say like 50 to 60% of teenagers are now suffering, which is amazing, alarming rate. It's too much to handle nowadays. We did not have this 20 years back, 10 years back. Now it's so bad that drugs and alcohol have started coming into schools. This is too much. Violence. These are too big a problem which has started coming into the schools. Usually this is only in a remote area where literacy is not so good, things like that. But now it has started coming into schools. A 7th grader knows pretty much everything. He knows where to get the alcohol, he knows where to get the drugs, and the parents are sitting and crying. What do I do with these kids? How do I manage these kids? No, it has gone off their hand. So this is where a 13-year to 15-year are. And these are not like somebody else. And some of the parents don't even know they are going through this. They land up learning about this only when they are 16 or 17. But they start right at 14 and 15, which is a dangerous zone, which is happening 50% to 60% in a school. Right in Bangalore, we have this statistic. It's a very alarming rate things are happening. If we do not take care of this as a whole global responsible parent, it is going to destroy our own place where we live. And our own generation to come is going to become worse, because they're going to become more violent, more depression. When they take alcohol, study says, including the brain is shrinking. The brain itself physically starts shrinking. That's what the statistic says. The brain gets directly affected if they are into alcohol and drugs. Especially teen is too early to start in the life. They don't have that much of depression or confusion, but why do they go into these things? So we're going to make it level 1, level 2, level 3. And I'm going to guide you, whichever level you are, I'm going to guide you through. So today, we make the difference in the teens. Today, we start making a difference in all the teens so that the world becomes a better place for all of us. Whether we know the teen as our kid, or you're working in a school, or you have a neighborhood as kids. Let's bring all of them to this space where we all create a space that teen will get back to the innocence. How beautiful it will be if they're innocent. Do we have a sample like that? Is it a possibility which can happen? Yes. We have a place, we have the teens, not only listening, but behaving like a child. It's a very sad state that I have to say this statement, but a teen behaving like a child has become something out of the whole context. But we have a school, Nithyananda Gurukul, where Swamiji grooms the kids. They are amazing, amazing. Why they are amazing, how they are amazing, how their brain thinking is happening, why they are not getting into all these things. We are going to analyze the full thing. We're going to go step by step to understand the Gurukul kids. Gurukul is a school in Bangalore. It's Swami Nithyananda's school in the ashram, Bidadi ashram, where the kids are amazingly innocent and very clear about their future, and they know all the technologies and they know all these things exist in the world. It's not that they're out of some remote area. They know very much. Even the video that you're going to see, the ad, is made by them. So they are very well versed in what is happening in the world, and they're able to structure their life in beautiful innocence. So how this innocence helps, how these kids are so different in the world versus the kids who are groomed in a regular society. We're going to see all this step by step, and where we are missing the link, and how to give the link, and how to make it happen, how to make every child the enlightened way. Enlightened child is a possibility because they're still a child. Whatever I explained today, you have to understand one basic thing. They are 15, 16 is still a child. We can remodel them into anything that we want. That's the good news. We can remodel into any way we want. That's the best part. We don't have to give up. We don't have to feel frustrated. Oh my God, the child is like this. But we can surely have a path how we can get them to the straight path, the right path. Because they've been going into the all kind of direction because we don't know how to take care in this modern world. Nobody taught us, there was no school, there was no college, where it gives all these ideas and clarity how we need to take care of our teenagers. So our confusion set them into the wrong path, and adding the societal part of it gives them more into the direction where they should not be going. So today we are going to go step by step into understanding how to get them and why they were the way they are, and how to bring them back into the best possibility that exists. So first, after describing the level, Madhve just want to go over the level 1 is just not listening to the parents, but they are following the routine that need to be taken care. The good kids, I would say. But still, they are not listening to the parents, we will handle them. The second level, where they are influenced by friends and getting into all the wrong books and not doing the routine properly, and they're getting misguided by their friends. The third, of course, is a very difficult category, where they get into the drugs and alcohol and violence. Also, we can handle very beautifully. All three, we can bring them back to their childhood and get them rooted to being innocence and under having a right identity. So I'm going to guide you how this is a possibility, and we are going to make it happen, all of us together today. So the first thing, so what are the issues that we have with our teens? No, how it's going to start, I'll tell you a little later. First, we'll understand the issues. What are the real issues that we are having? The first issue, every parent will raise their hand and say, Ma, they're always into games. Not just playing games out there in cricket or volleyball or soccer, but computer games. Because we start giving the tablet right at 1 year. So obviously they're going to have their tablet when they are 15 years. They're going to be a pro in that. So it starts right from 1 year, how we are taking care of them. So we need to understand what we put in the tablet. There are so many games which are more expanding games. Nowadays there are higher order thinking games which is going to expand them. Unlike the games which is going to destroy them into violence and more incompletion in them. More anger, depression, guilt inside them. So the first issue that parents face is the games. And the second issue, I would say, the parents face is the friends themselves. However, we put rules and regulations and standards and everything in the house, the friends take away everything. The minute they go to the neighbor, they have their own tablet, they have their own lifestyle, everything is gone. We cannot monitor like the previous generation because it is now open culture. Everything is available everywhere. You can go to a cafe coffee day and get to see everything. So it's not just you can tell them not to do this, not to do that, and they're going to be sitting at home and doing what you want and all the home errands and chores. They're not going to do that. They're going to get ways of getting things happen their way through their friends. So it's very important component, their friends, because each one of these issues, I'm going to tell you how we're going to handle, so we don't have bigger issue happening altogether, and we are totally don't know what to do with the teens. So the friends, influence by friends is very high. And what happens when the friends come in their life? The non-listening starts. Whether it's level 1, level 2, level 3. The non-listening is a big part where parents fight with them, shout at them, argue with them. Some of the parents hit them, and some of the parents get beaten too. So there is so many things which happen which we don't want at all. But why is this non-listening happening? Why is this friends' influence more than the parents? We've been taking care all the way through, and suddenly some boy or girl comes and just takes away the whole space, and everything they say seem to be correct, and whatever parents say seem to be all messed up. So where are we going wrong? And finally they land up in anger and violence with the parents, and the minute they see the parents, they try to put the head down and walk away or run through the back door or some way to escape from these parents. Oh my God, these parents are going to really torture me. No, that's the status they come into. And they don't want, because they feel the hen-pecked knife, the hen-pecked parents, that's what they feel. Oh my God, the parents don't understand this generation. They are not with the technology. They did not live with the technology. Now they're coming and telling me to do this. This is not a possibility. So they just get into the rebel mode. They start rebelling totally. And that's when your hands are completely off and you are not able to hold them, and they're off to their own way of behaving. That becomes very difficult, and the whole thing breaks down. Now I'm going to give another set of details where you understand where they get misguided, where they go into all these games, friends, violence, anger, all these things, how they are able to grasp all these verses, how they should be, where we misguide them. So this is the second part. I'm going to give you the details, how we misguide them getting into all these problems. So first we spoke about the levels. Second, we spoke about the issues. Now we are getting into understanding the misguidance. Please be in authentic listening. We are solving this puzzle part by part. So this where we get misguided. The whole thing gets misguided because of the basic thing we miss out in life. And they don't understand that, and they start becoming a rebel. They start becoming more and more into incompletion. We'll get to the incompletion little further, but first we'll see the misguidance that happens. The first and foremost, why teens are not with us is the no trust. The parents and the children, the trust breaks. So when the trust breaks, the whole system is destroyed. It's like two states are next to each other. There's no trust, so the enmity start forming, and finally there is a war. And it becomes an everyday war. So the first thing we need to build is a trust. I'll tell you a little further how to build the trust, but trust is the most important thing when it comes to teen. And it can't be just built one day, but it has to be slowly built. How to build the trust? We'll go one step at a time. These are the misguidance that happens. First we understand the issues. Now where we went wrong for the issues to happen, and how we push them into different levels. So these are the misguidance. So the first one is losing the trust. We miss out the trust in the whole thing, and then we try to build anything. It's not going to be fine, because trust is everything, right? Any relationship, the first component that you need to have, the first thing you need to have is the trust. So that's the first problem. And then the second problem we see is the no belongingness. They don't feel part of the family, or they don't feel connected to what we believe, our beliefs, our ideas. They are disconnected from that. And where are they? We never saw where they are. The no belongingness, they don't feel part of us. That is one of the big things that happens when they become teen. See, when they are about 7 years, a child starts thinking, oh, I am wrong. The world is correct. So I need to change myself. That's what at 7 years the child starts understanding. But by 14 years, again and again this concept is reiterated, and then they start believing, oh, I am all alone. I don't have anybody. I am here just by myself. And who's there with me? Another friend who feels like that. Oh, wow. Okay, you're also feeling at your home like that. I am also feeling like that. My parents never care. They are too busy. They have their own task. So this is what happens. Most of the houses, this is what happens at one point. They start thinking they're all alone. So the part of where they belong starts breaking. Not just the trust, but they really physically feel they don't belong here anymore. They have different ideas and they don't match with the parents. They have different ways to live their life and parents don't understand them anymore. And they feel so frustrated that they don't know what to do. And that's the reason why they go into the friends. That's when the friends starts happening. First, when they are small, any friend, then they have the same gender friends, then they go into the opposite gender friends. This is the way slowly they start building friends in their life. To see a similarity in them, the identity they are forming, they want to catch up with identity. They don't know what kind of identity they need. Last webinar, we spoke about the stubborn child, where we said the context is important, the identity is not important. But here, I'm telling you the identity that we need to form for the teenagers. So listen carefully what we are getting into, how we need to build them, how we need to hold them, and how we get, first we understand where we misguide, then we'll understand how to guide them much better. So these are the things. First, the trust breaks. Slowly and slowly, this doesn't happen like one day, but slowly and slowly the trust starts breaking. And then the whole belongingness feel like I am all alone. I don't have anybody. I am just by myself. The parents don't understand me anymore. This generation is different. Whatever goes on in their brain, they feel alone. That's when they start taking other friends as their supportive help. Then they miss the purpose. The third most important thing is they don't know their purpose. You can ask any teen what's the purpose of the life. They'll say, I just want to go for a movie or have some game or play some games. They don't know the big picture. They don't have any idea. They don't have any purpose. There is no purpose. This one I like to bring where Swami Satsang Swami beautifully put it when he went to the Gurukul, the school in Bidadi, and just sat with the teenagers and just asked casually. No, it was very casual. He just walked and he just sit, and all the teenagers who finished the 10th grade, one level of the public exam, they're all sitting in front of him. I was just wondering, like, what is he going to ask and what is he going to do? Suddenly he just pops up and says, hey guys, what do you like to do? And just like that, each one clearly defined their purpose. I was so shocked about the clarity they had. And Swamiji in Satsang so beautifully said, it's like their name. When you ask your name, you will not be thinking. You will just be so sure about it. No, this is what I am. This is what I want to be. It was like that. How these teenagers were so clear. Versus you can ask any teenager, what's going on in life? They have no idea. They don't have the big picture. They don't have any clarity what's going on in their life. All they know is have some fun and get off me all these responsibility. I'm not interested in all these things. That's like mommy's job, daddy's job. I'm not interested. No, I'll be what I want. So that is where they are, and this is where these teenagers are there. So we're going to find out what is missing between them. Today we'll find out, and it's very easy to bring these kids also into the same space. So they should understand their purpose. The purpose is lost, so everything is lost. So they feel all alone. So the whole trust is gone. They are not ready to build anything. They're going into the depression space, the violence, the anger, the laziness, the fear. That's what they bring in. And finally, guilt. That's what happens to them. So that becomes a rebel in the world. So we need to understand, and the most important, some kids know very well, I want to be a doctor. Why you want to be a doctor? Oh, my mom said I have to be a doctor. And when did your mom say? When I was in the kindergarten itself, my mom told me I want to be a doctor. No, this is what the enforced. Why? Ask the parent why they want your kid to be a doctor. Oh, I missed being a doctor, so at least I want my kid to be a doctor. No, that's not life. They are not just a part of you. They are a being who has landed up on planet Earth, and they have a particular purpose. They have taken this birth. We need to support them, not enforce them. So a lot of parents think this is the best for them, that is the best for them. That doesn't fit into their context, and it becomes a suffocation because it doesn't fit in. See, one thing is society says, oh come on, you're going to earn now. So plan your life properly so that you can make money and you can make your own food. So that's the high priority. So what happens? You have to be a doctor, engineer, or something which pays you high. That's when you have the comfort life. Otherwise, you are not going to have comfort life. You're going to be on the streets, and it's going to be very difficult managing the whole life. And if you're going to get married, and that's it, everything is a mess up. So first thing, you need a job, and for a job you need a proper education. And this is what is going to bring you the proper education. This is what gets into the head of the kids. I will call the enforced purpose, which is not their very identity, but that's where we make a big mistake. We don't understand when we let them to be they might become the best painter in the world. They might be earning much more than what we think. Of course, I'm not trying, see, there is one thing called fantasy, which I'll get to in a few minutes, versus what they really want to be. Some of the kids really want to be something, but still they are being enforced into something because the parents think, what will happen to their life? Oh, if I don't take care of now, and how would they take care later in life? It's a very critical time. Selecting the college is the most important time. The parents would leave just the work and sit with the kids, making sure they do the higher studies properly, they do the college properly, because the life is groomed there, is what they think. I understand it's very, very critical because I have my own son who's a teenager, and we have our own things that we need to do, and I come from a family where my father, my brother, myself, everybody my father and my brother are IIT toppers, and they are the best education system in the world. That IIT education, it's an Indian Institute of Technology where they get the best brains. No, I come from that family, and I am myself an engineer. I understand that very nicely, but where we miss, we need to see. It's not about enforcing something. Yes, I'm an engineer talking about parenting today, so I'll tell my story later, but this is where we get misguided, and we get into our confusion, which gets into diverting them into something which they don't want. Not all kids are going to fit into the same bucket that we are going to specify. They have a vision, they have a purpose, they have a burning desire to be something. And if we enforce them into something, still they will land up who they want to be. If they are really into a person who is having the will, they're going to land up surely where they are. But it's going to be a struggle for them. But we can make it easy. So I'll let you know how we can guide them, and also bring our concerns. I'm not saying we're going to leave our concerns because it's very critical. We cannot just make a decision on a parenting course about our child's future, right? So I'm going to guide you where both falls in place, and it becomes the best purpose, best identity where they can go further, the best thing they want to hold on. Like these kids sat in front of Swamiji within seconds. What a father, what a kids. No, within seconds, they understood their purpose, and the father said, okay, I'll take it to make you do PhD. And father, here I refer to Swamiji himself. So Swamiji sat with his kids, teenage kids, and within seconds, a dozen of kids, about 7 kids, he was able to align them to what purpose they have in their life. And it was the true purpose. He asked, like a dad coming and asked, what do you want to do today? No, what do you want to take up your life? Slowly getting in the conversation, what do you want to do in life? And the kid says, I don't know, Dad. How about engineer? Like that. It was such a beautiful space. My God, I was like, wow, it's so nice to watch. All big smile in my face. So, and these kids like, I want to be an aeronautical engineer. I want to be a physicist. I want to be I want to study temple. I want to study art. And then he explains, Ma, she said painting. So Swami explains to the kid very beautifully, Ma, it is not just painting, it's art. No, guiding them to the proper words. So beautiful the conversation was, and it happened within seconds. Where we struggled for years to bring them to study what they need to study and get them to the proper education so that their future is all set. It just happened in few seconds, all this. And so beautiful how they knew the purpose. That was the catch. I was breaking my head, like, how these kids know the purpose. If my dad asked me, all I said is, Daddy, I wanted money. I don't know which one to take. And that time it was all computers. And if I don't take computers, I will be left alone. All my friends are doing computers. You put me in math. I was put in a math versus computers. So I told my dad, this is not going to fetch me money. This is all I said because this is what I understood. At least I was in the level 1 listening. So I could talk to my dad. Then he moved me to the engineering college where I can learn the computer science. But that's not the purpose. That is not the way of life. So it's a the society has guided me into forced purpose. So that's where I was sitting, and I struggled all through my way till I landed up here. So it's not required. It's not at all required. And because it's a struggle, it became very difficult for me to align what I really want to do. I was confused, I was frustrated, I was in depression and had so many surgeries because I was fighting with my life. All I had to do is, I need to get the money for my kids, for my family, but I thought that's responsibility. And that is the purpose I need to live. Because society painted that picture in front of me and there was no guidance. So that's where the whole, I would call it the enforced purpose. And the next one is the violence. Nowadays kids are so violent. And forget teenage, the toddler beats the parents up. And the mom is like, I don't want to go there, that place, because my child is not fine. He's going to hit and shout. I rather skip this today. No, they're so scared and they make the decision based on kids. Now is the only time on planet Earth where the parents have to ask their kids whether they can go somewhere, whether they can plan something, not just say, hey, pack up the bag, we are going. And the kids are like running behind and saying, where, Daddy? It's no more like that. It's more like, I don't think my child can adjust there. The food is very difficult. No, he doesn't like these things. And the weather is so bad. And the surrounding is not so good. And he needs some friends and games to play. So I don't think he'll enjoy this vacation. My God, my dad never asked me where he went. All he went was temple after temple after temple. I used to like, temple, another temple. But it was so much fun. I enjoyed the whole occasion, and now I see the amount of understanding and the concept that he wanted to give me, the context that he wanted to set in me. It was so beautiful. But when I was small, I didn't understand all that. I was like, why can't we take a vacation? Why vacation has to be temple? No, that's what I was a rebel about. But the whole context was completely different. Now it's like, no, you have to ask your daughter, you have to ask your son if they can accompany you, because they might not like it. What do you mean they don't like it? My parent never asked me whether I like it or not. He just dragged me and put me there. But nowadays you cannot do that. It's not a possibility. They have their independent thinking and their identity. We have to really respect where they need to be, what they need to pack, and what, including the suitcase and everything is a separate thing for them with proper understanding. They have to really, communicate, and the kids have to accept it. So this is where life is now. So far it has gone. Now we are going to pull that back. And one of the biggest thing that we misguided the kids into delusion and fantasy by giving so many possibility. It's not just one of us, but as a society, we just gave away everything without giving the limit. Of course, we have the parental monitoring system, we have all the controls, but we did not define ourselves properly before giving what and all they can do in life. So many out of control things have been now handed to the children, and they don't know how to take care of that. So teen pregnancy have gone really high, drugs have gone really high. This is in school. No, this is in school, not even in college. We used to see in college, now it has come down to school, and what it tells. It just tells us there is no childhood after 10 years. That's what Swamiji said. There is no childhood, 10 years they are matured. They are getting into the life which is an adulthood by 10 years. No, having a girlfriend, boyfriend is not for 10 years. It's not for 15 years. It's not for even 16 years, 17 years. It is for a 21-year-old kid. No, that's when you start thinking about the other person. If you require in your life, 18 to 21 is the age. Why are we bringing that to a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old? Mama, this is my girlfriend. This is my boyfriend. The society has been also supporting this without understanding the real big issues behind it. That is when the whole society is just breaking down. It's like same drugs. Know how the alcohol is, same thing, the same effect is created in the delusion that they are getting into with a girlfriend, boyfriend, without even understanding anything. They are not perverted. Please get me correct. They are not perverted. A 16-year-old kid talking about a lot of things is still not perverted because they are just enacting it. Whether it is anger, whether it is violence, whether it is perversion or anything, they are just enacting. They don't know the seriousness. They don't know it. But when they get into 21, when they are in toddler, they throw a tantrum. And they get into 7, 8 years, they start understanding, why did we throw a tantrum like this? No, we were so confused and we were screaming and all that. When they are 8, 9 years old, they are able to see themselves as a child. Same way, when they are 18 years old, they will understand how childish they were, but without guidance, they got into the wrong issues in life. They start blaming their parents. That is the biggest incompletion that can happen to a human being is, say, my parent guided me, did not guide me, did not help me, or misguided me. That is the biggest incompletion a child can have. Because it's not the parents' misguidance. I want to again clear with you, it is the child what they need to take from us. See, each one has the liberation of how we want to absorb from the world. And this child has taken something which is not required. That's when the whole incompletion starts. So there is not a parent bad parenting at all. I would say, unless they are buying something and giving directly to the child and exposing them, there is nothing a bad parenting at all exists. Most of us are a beautiful parent, but we don't know it. And the kids absorb wrong things in the wrong version and start living their life and start taking the patterns and making it a root pattern. By the time they are 21, they are stuck with their root pattern, and that destroys or that runs their life till they get destroyed like one of us. So we are going to understand all this. First, I spoke about different levels. Again, I just want to go over level 1, level 2, level 3. The level 1 of non-listening kids, No, they don't listen, but they are doing the routines fine. The second level, where they start influenced by their friends and the society, but the listening is also not there. They start getting influenced and they don't do the routine properly. The third category, where the listening is not there, they're too much influenced and they're out of control. We don't know what to do. We are totally lost. So we had the 3 levels. Then we spoke about the issues, the games, the friends, the non-listening part of them, the violence and anger which finally creates a rebel. The issues that are there with a teenager. I'm just talking about the prime issues. There's tons of issues. But the prime issues, they don't eat, they hurt themselves. So many other things are there. But the prime issues I've just taken, and these are the issues. And where the misguidance starts happening. The misguidance first start happening with no trust. Then no belongingness. No, they don't feel part of our family anymore. They don't feel part of us. The mom and dad and the child is left, like 2 separate entities. The third part, the missing, the purpose itself. The whole purpose is lost. They don't know what to do in life. They don't have a purpose. If we ask the same question to one of us, the same thing lands up. We don't have a purpose nor have an idea about the purpose, most of us. And we don't know our purpose is the right purpose. That's where the confusion. If you don't know your purpose, and if you don't know what is your right purpose, still you don't have the purpose. Because the chaos cannot be the clarity that we should have. We should have a very clear picture of our future. That's when we are understanding our purpose. So the fourth part is the enforced purpose. The parents, the society gives a painted picture. Wow, this is a beautiful job and I need to take it. And I start picking up those things which is irrelevant to my life. And I land up in frustration. And I land up in more issues. I have the health issues, so I work and pay for my health. And because my health is bad, and then I have to work more, it goes on a chaos. My relation is upset, my health is gone, and obviously the wealth is down because I have no idea what's happening in my life. So everything becomes chaos. So this is where the misguidance happens. The misguidance leads to even more further into violence and also the fantasy world the kids are living in. They are very violent. They're ready to shoot their principal and teachers. This is unheard of. This is getting into a new dimension of like a war in your own home. Who will shoot who? This is too dangerous place. And we don't want to leave our kids where the shooting is happening. After that, the whole school, we are so scared to leave the kid in the same school. All kind of things happen. Why is this happening this way? And the fantasy world, girlfriend, boyfriends, and all kind of things, weirdo things. Mommy says very clearly, if they have all this incompletion about the other partner in their life in a very early stage, below 21, they are not going to have a beautiful relationship when they get married in future. The whole thing is destroyed because everything happens too early and it's getting into incompletion, which is not necessary. The depression, the guilt, that is what finally lands on us. And we also go through the same thing happens in their life also. So it is a confusion. It is completely living out of violence and fantasy. One side it's violence and one side it is fantasy. So everything gets lost. Now we are going to see all this is defined. So now I'm going to guide you what bring them to the solution. How do we get this solution? We have spoken about all these problems now. We are like in front of us, a chaos. Now, what do we do with this? And how these Gurukul kids are so innocent. Swami says he walked into the classroom and he saw innocence. The girls and the boys like kids running around, playing and studying. So beautiful. And these are teenagers, 15, 16 years old. And how our 16 years and 17 years are? These are happily, jolly, like babies. They are interacting with each other with no incompletions. Versus here, No, they're talking at the back and about the girls, and the boys are talking about the girls, and the girls are talking about the boys, all in a perverted way that we call perversion. So all this happens in a regular school versus here, there's nothing. Why are these kids so complete? What is happening here in this school? We are going to understand that. So please get your listening again. The first, why teens are the way they are. We understood because of the society, because of the way they are brought up, because of the information they are given. Everything is now in pieces. Now we'll bring them back to home. And how do we do it? And first, foremost, the first thing that you need to understand is bring their friends. And we know latest, if you've been listening to Swami's satsang, the best process in our life that we have understood is a Timili process. Yes, the Timili process is very, very powerful. You cannot align them without their friends. Understand that very well. Their friends are very important when you want to bring them back home. So bring their friends, make a Timili. And what do we do with this Timili? I'll guide you step by step. You have to relate with their friends. It's no more just them. Whether it's school friends, whether it's home friends, anybody, big, small, they can be as tiny as 3-year-old, they can have a friend, and they can have a friend of like 30 years. Whoever they call friends, you have to accept them into your family as a Timili process. Only then the first thing you build trust. If you trust their friends, they immediately, yes, my mommy accepts my friends. So they start building a trust. So the first problem that we were posing starts dropping. We build a trust because without their friends, you're not going to break this. It's not going to be easy job for you. They're not going to sit and listen to you, but they will listen to their friends. If you ask their friends, you'll know more than anybody than the friends know what about the partner. They get to tell everything. Because they know they can just open up with a friend and tell, hey, this is what happened and this is how I want to be. Come on, you also join me. So the friend is very clear what's happening in their life. So bring their friends. And in their friends, there will be a guy who is the level 1. So you can catch hold of him to help you out. So you can have their Timili friends and slowly have the guide. So have a Timili process and I'll guide you through the Timili process as we go along. The second thing is the responsibility. From the beginning, try to bring responsibilism in kids. It's very, very important. Why Gurukul is way the Gurukul? The kids that I described in the school in Bidadi in Bangalore are the way they are because responsibility in everything, every action, they are responsible in their life. So when things are taken for granted in our family, like if we sit back and I want some milk and we just go and give them the milk, or they just want something and it just appears in front of them, then the whole responsibilism is lost. They are having 200 monkey energy. I said this before. Again, I'm saying 200 monkey energy. So they can do every chore in the house. Make them part of your family, whether handling money, whether handling the budget, whether handling making a menu, whether handling the guest. Bring them to every action in reality. Don't make them, I'm going to teach you about money, I'll give you $4, go and buy this. Don't make them a worker, make them a manager, not a worker. That is responsibilism. Make them a manager of the house and you become the worker. I'm just joking, but you get them to be a manager in the house so that they understand. You become the CEO, not the worker, the CEO, and then you get the managers to do things and teach the managers how to execute things in their life. Take responsibilism as your lifestyle. So bring responsibility in every action. Otherwise, this laziness is the biggest problem why they go into the violence, why they feel left alone, the non-belongingness. Everything happens because of no responsibilism in them. Everything they are responsible, not by force. Don't tell them morning you have to do this, 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 this. Don't give a work list for them. No. Become a part of the family where they are responsible. Make them responsible. Oh, I am responsible for this. The guests are coming and I have to arrange everything. I have to put a budget. I have to make the rooms clean. Like that. No, them getting real problems and solving it. Kids love it. Whether it's a video, the kids who have done this ingenious ad, they just picked it up. They said, oh Madhvait, you don't have an ad. I will make it. I said, okay, go ahead. And I just told them these people can help you. That's all. They just went and saw how people did. They learned it by themselves. They started doing the ad and said, Madhvait, we got an ad. We need a approval and we can play this. And they were so happy when it played that they took the responsibility of such a big thing. No, such a big thing. It's an ingenious ad. It's a very big program that we have. And they are doing the ad for that. And it got approved and it's getting played in the live. They feel, no, connecting to the reality. Connecting to what is happening here. That kind of responsibility, not a work list. This from morning. You do your, go and clean up your room. Then make sure your things are kept properly in your wardrobe. No, these are work lists. No, that's not responsibilism. Nobody wants to do that. If somebody sits and tells me from morning to evening what to do, what not to do, that is not responsibilism. Give them the practical responsibilism, which is happening in your daily life, in your family, that you need to take care. How you take care is how they need to take care. They become part of you. That's where the belongingness starts happening. It's very important as old as 3-year-old or a 13-year-old feels that. Even a 3-year-old can help a lot in kitchen. Lot in kitchen, making the chapatis or making the pizza, whatever it is, they should feel part of the family right from the start. Not sitting in a room all by themselves with a computer. From morning to evening, they have a computer. It's not that. It's okay for them to use the computer. Just because you stop the computer, they are not going to stop doing things. But when they are responsible, they will not go into the wrong things because they know what are the effect and the side effects of that. And the laziness also goes down. The satisfaction, it comes up. All these factors happen. And as much as possible, bring them to the family. Even if their friends want to join, and they can pay part of them. If you have the bulb to be fixed, let the friends also fix the bulb. They'll drop it, break it, they will understand their life. No, a teenager has to go through everything in front of us. You cannot handhold them now. If you handhold them as kids, then at later point of life, they don't have anybody to handhold. They're left alone and they'll make bigger mistake. Do you want them to make bigger mistake without you or small mistake today with you? Decide that very clearly. That is responsibilism. Give them, and it's okay if they are doing a failure, but then let them stand up. That is responsibilism. So the third concept is the core concept. Let's get to the core thing of the whole today's end parenting. How to raise an enlightened child. How to build their identity. And what is the identity that I am talking about? Last webinar we were talking about the context, and here I'm talking about the identity. So what is this identity that we are talking about building? The core concept, the clarity they need to have with life. Why it is so important is because when we don't have the clarity, we are always unfulfilled in the inner space. When we are unfulfilled in a space, however we go in life, whether we become Bill Gates, whether we become Warren Buffett, we still go back to the social service. Why is Bill Gates doing social service? Because he's not fulfilled. It's not the outer world object he's looking for, but inner search goes on. Finally, we all have to look in. That is when we expand. That is when we become complete. If we can understand that, we all become leaders. We become the greatest leaders of planet Earth. Let's make our children the greatest leaders of tomorrow. And how we build that is by building the authenticity. Today, if I build the authenticity in my child, they're able to go ahead and become leaders of tomorrow? How do I build the identity? And what do you mean by authenticity? What happens? That is the most important thing. We need to understand. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett have given away most of their wealth. Then why did they sit and earn so much? Why did they become the greatest and the best on planet Earth? What's going on here? No, there's a complete mismatch. We tell our children to study and earn and be the rich person and you'll have everything in your life. And there, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates is giving and giving, thinking they're going to find their search by giving. But there is something more. There's something more which they miss, which Swamiji beautifully gave these kids. What Swamiji gave these kids was something a greatest gift. Building their identity with authenticity. How do they build the identity? In one of the seminars, Swamiji beautifully spoke. I went to Gurukul and I saw a kid and she was continuously in dilemma whether to go home or stay back. So I asked her very clearly, do you want to go home or stay back? And then the kid says, no, I want to be here. So that's what I want. What I want is not them staying back. That is not what I'm talking here. I want no dilemma. Dilemma leads to ignorance. Please understand this statement. Dilemma leads to ignorance. When we are undecisive about things in life, we get into ignorance part of life. We get into chaos and we are into confusion. Why this is so important in our life? If you see the law of attraction, what happens? What we create in our life is what we get back in our life. But the better secret of that is the decision we make. Decisions in our life builds our life. Today we made a decision to be in parenting. So the life expands. Every time we make the right decision to where Swamiji is guiding us, life expands. In every process, if you know my background, I'm a basically computer engineer and I have been in US for 9 years and I was working all over the world in different parts of US as a computer engineer, and I've gone through so many trainings. I was in one of the best company, Cognizant, and I have the best trainings, but the training that Swamiji gives is nowhere even compared. No, it just builds a foundation. They only train you to solve today's problem, how to cook my dosa, that's all. But what about cooking itself? How do I understand cooking itself is what Swamiji gives, a big picture of the whole life, big picture of where I struggle and align me correctly to where I want to be, where I am satisfied. That's where Bill Gates and Warren Buffett did not have. Even though they're world's richest people, they don't have the best training that we all have. And the best thing today we have is the best model school, Gurukul, and the best education that is provided as a life coach, as Swamiji himself for them. That's why it's called Gurukul. Guru guides them into their life, step by step by step. That's where they are amazing. And how do they understand this? By not having dilemmas. They never have questions. They have clarity. Yes, no is their answer. They never are put in chaos or confusion. What happens? What happens when we make a decision? We have to be authentic to that. Now we are tangible, measurable. When I decide something, I have to stick to that. Now somebody can catch me because I've decided. I can be questioned. So I have to be tangible. I have to be truthful, measurable, authentic. Now I cannot waver my mind. I have given a picture. I have given a commitment. Now everybody can catch me. So I have to be authentic. So every step, when we make a clear decision in our life, we are committed to life. We have to stand authentic to our decision. When we are authentic to our decision, we build our identity with a clarity. We build the identity and we know our purpose of life very clear what we need to do. Then if I know my purpose, then I don't get into incompletion. Then I don't need a friend, a teamily, all kind of things to support me into wrongdoing. Now I know what I want and I am going to get my teamly how my purpose is. Not into the incompletion that they have and I support them and they support me. Let me go a little slower. So the basic problem, the whole thing starts with dilemmas in life, which breaks the identity because we cannot be authentic when we don't have clear decision. If you're not able to make decisions in life, then you have no identity that you are authentic about. The authentic space is lost. It's broken into pieces because now I'm always like, Mama decide for me, Papa decide for me. Only that we are here. I don't know how to make decisions. I don't know what to do. No, that's where we get into confusion. And what do? In my free time, I start with my friends in Facebook. Then I learn new things because I don't have a purpose. The inner space is a seeker. It's always trying to seek to go to the ultimate possibility. But if we don't have a purpose, I don't have a tool, I don't have a path. So what happens to the inner seeking? I don't know what I am. I'm lost. So that's when the confusion starts. So don't let any dilemma in your child, very important rule, and let them make a decision and keep up the decision. It's okay they fall out of the decision. Swami beautifully described, even if they fall out, I don't have a problem, but they have a clarity why they are falling out. Even then the decision is made why they are falling out. Not simply go here, go there, I'm a today engineer, tomorrow a doctor. I'm not confused. I am falling out. I dropped my education as and a career as a computer engineer because I was very clear, children are my space. I love and groom and I belong to them. I felt one among them. So I said, this is my life. The whole world, my parents and my husband, everybody thought I'm mad. Why you want to leave a job where you're getting paid like $2,000, $3,000 and sit with a baby and become a babysitter? I said, no, this is where I connect. My heart feels fulfilled. I feel one among them. I feel as though I understand every word. Without even them talking, I can understand them. I said, this is where I belong. So when I took that as a career, even though everybody said, no, what's wrong with me? I was very clear. Finally, I understood my purpose. And it just cleared everything in my life. The stress, the health, the wealth, the relationship, everything expanded like a big flower, the sunflower, beautifully opening. Like that, everything, every petal started opening and I started understanding my purpose. It's so beautiful to be with kids. And that is what I've been wanting to, but I never knew it. Till I understood, my son himself showed me the path. For my case, my son dragged the mother into showing the purpose. So it can happen in any way. So bring them to making decisions. So now I'm going to give you a small workshop and please write these questions so you understand where you are now. No, first if we have to draw a map and you need to go somewhere, first thing we need to understand is where you are. So I'm going to give you the 3 questions. Take a pencil and paper, note down these 3 questions, and we'll start from where you are. You will understand where you are. And from here, how we need to go forward, we'll guide you. So just grab a pencil and paper. I'll give you a few minutes. are the defensive behaviors in your child that you see as a defensive, problematic? What are the defensive behavior, especially when you enforce something? Go do this if you tell them and they just rebel. No, I'm not going to do this. That's not my job. Whatever. No, the defensive statements, they're insecurity statements, basically, I would say. What is that? They rebel. No, the top things that you see in your child. So that is the first question. What are the defensive statements, behaviors in your child? Especially when you push them, what happens? So how were you when you were teens? No, what kind of a rebel, what kind of personality you were carrying as a teen? Because that matters a lot. That you would see in your child exactly as how you are, they're going to reflect that a lot. So it's very important you understand yourself as a teen. Now, what kind of a rebel you were, or what kind of a struggle, or you were like simply, okay, my mom and dad is the greater and you are so complete, very good, but please share how you were rebelling the whole concept of, as a teen. Whichever level you were, fine. The third, very, very important. What is your next step of making decision? What is your next step of making decision for your child? What is the commitment now you're going to take to build their identity? Make them responsible. Make it happen in their life, that they don't miss life. They don't get incompletion. They don't miss their life and beat around and finally find out when they're 50 like us. No, what is the purpose? Why we are, who we are, why we are here, and what gives us happiness, bliss, satisfaction. Instead of them knowing at 50, we can make them know at 15. So what responsibility you're going to take today? How you're going to build their authentic space, the identity. So these are the three questions. I'll repeat the question again. First question, what are the defensive behavior, the aggressive behavior that they show, especially when you enforce, when you push them, what happens at your home? It can be your child, your neighbor child, whoever you want to take as example, we can discuss about them. The second part is how you were when you were a teen. What is that you were holding the space when you were a teen? The third statement is, what are the decision and commitment you are going to take as your responsibility in building their authenticity and making them leaders of tomorrow? An enlightened child is quite possible. All we need to take is little steps today. And thank you so much. We'll have about 15 minutes break from now. And once you finish the question, you can share, you can send a mail, you can share, and we'll go over the questions and answer in a live session. So you can share with us through mail. You can send to neducation@nithyananda.org. You can send a mail or raise your hand in your center. I can see online the two-way centers, and one by one you can start sharing. Thank you. We'll take a break of 15 minutes. You can have your coffee, take a break, come back with all the listening. Thank you so much. Apa naik? Yes, so the first question I got is so interesting. The first question is on the video that you just saw. The video is done by the Gurukul kids on engineers, Haridwar engineers, beautifully aligned. They themselves wrote the script, they chose the picture, they learnt the editing part, and they did the whole ad. It's so beautiful. One of the kid, they just said like, Madhvait, we need an ad for, when they saw the ad for Inner Awakening, they got inspired and they said, we should do a kid's ad. I said, go ahead. So it's a real problem that really they have to take up, manage, understand, learn the scripts, install in the computer, get the computer, everything. And they took it up and finally came back and said, Madhvait, do you like it? So it was very cute. Then we showed it to Swamiji. He was so happy, and the way he let the first time the ad to be played saying that my Gurukul kids did it again. So that was such a beautiful space. The whole Ingenious program, this parent is having a question about the Ingenious program. So what is Ingenious program, and what is that which happens? See, all the way traveling and studying in Gurukul in India, yes, it's the best lifestyle, the best thing, but so many other things are there in our life which we might not be able to make the decision. So the easiest part that we can do, and everybody, it's a possibility, is bring them for 21 days to experience that, to build their identity, the authentic identity, whether it is level 1 or level 2. Why am I not saying level 3? Level 3, you have to really bring them and have to get them to be part of engineers, because it's become overboard what we can do. When the level 1 and level 2 beautifully, you can align them and get them to understand how to build these things. We have the Timely process, we have the core concept building, the identity building, the authenticity building in them to understand what is life. What is the real requirement in life? What is that they are here for? What is their own satisfaction? They start understanding all this even if they are getting into the wrong track. They really understand their purpose, what they need to do. At least we give them a clarity of what they can be versus what is happening in their life. They're able to see the difference, that where they are getting to in when they are connecting to the society and what's happening with their life, versus a kid who has not attended, who don't know anything. We don't know any part of the whole thing. They are just lost. Versus that kid, and this kid is able to say very clearly, I know these are not good, but no, I just want to hang around here to learn these things also. Even that is much better than saying, I don't know which is right, which is wrong, I don't know anything. So it's very important you guide them, you tell them, you just come there for a few days and see whether you like it. Don't force them. Again, force fitting is not going to work. They're going to be rebelling. They're not going to be listening. It's going to be very difficult. We have had kids, yes, we have had kids of drug addicts, alcohol. We have had kids. We have had kids who are not able to understand what is the purpose. Madhvait is going to give few minutes because there's an audio problem in the two-way. We'll just give 5 minutes, and I'll go over the whole thing. Thank you for being patient with Madhvait. Advait want to complete. On two-way, they are having an issue of audio problem. So we're just testing. Just give me a minute. I'm just going to check. On two-way, can you wave your hand if the audio is clear? Can you see, Madhvit? Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's continue. So the first question was about the engineers program. What kind of a program and why is it required for the children? So I'm just going over. I was just answering the question. So what happens is it's very difficult to bring the kids and bring them to Gurukul or make them study here and build their identity and so many things, which becomes a very easy process when they just come here for 21 days. They hang around. Whether it's a teen or toddler, they are going to have so much fun. Don't tell them it's a meditation program. You're going to sit for hours to close your eyes and no, you eat sattvic food and all kind of rigorous things that you want to put in their head. Tell them you're going to have lots of fun, lots of games. And it's a challenge. When you give a challenge to a teenager, they love it. So they think they can break any challenges because they're beyond all the challenges in the world. So give them something which they love it. And tell them you can expect that out there. And you come there and see. If you don't like in 1 week, you can go back. It's okay. Nobody is forcing you. You just be there, hang around and see what happens in this world also. What kind of a life they are leading. What is so special. And you have some extraordinary things happening there. You can just come and witness. No, you can be there for 1 week and after that you can decide what you want to do. So you just give them an opportunity to just understand the whole space. Don't force them. Don't tell them it's a meditation program where they close their eyes and sit for hours. Don't scare them. Don't put fear or greed. They are not going to, nowadays, the teenagers are not going to listen to your fear and greed. They don't have fear. They'll say, get lost. The greed is beyond. They don't have these things as a big greed. I know one mom literally bought a horse to take her kid to the cruise. No, to take a kid to the cruise for this engineers program, the mother has to buy a horse for the child. So anything you do, it's still worth it. But at the end, she came and told me, Ma, I cannot afford the horse, but somehow you have to go complete with my child. And we brought the child to listening, and then she understood what this program is so worth, much more than a horse. So bring them to get them there, and then we will get them to understand the life themselves. When they are understanding themselves, it's the core you. You love yourself more than anybody in the planet Earth. So when you understand and when you look back at you, you're such a joy for yourself. So the kids say, how is it different from your summer camps? They say, first time we understood there is something that I need and I am. And who I am, I understood. These are the teenage words. And it's so strange a teenage talking like this in the outer world, right? So it's such a wonderful space that Swamiji creates. And however, even if they are alcoholic, they are drug addicts, they have been there in the program, and 1 week they are like, oh, I'm going to do something to this whole place. And after that, like, how do you feel about the program? Oh, it's the best. Last engineers, Varanasi, I had this kid who 2 years the mom was struggling to bring the child to Varanasi, to engineers. And finally he came and he said, what kind of a program is this? I don't like this program. This is too much of talking and too much of doing. I'm not for all this. And end of 21 days, he goes and grabs the mic and says, this is the best program that I have ever been. We are like, what? And this is a teenage boy. And he says, I have this project. Madhvait, how do I implement it? Now his energy has gone way past. So what happens when you align them to the reality? First they struggle. No, they literally eat your brain off. Don't get scared, but they don't want to accept this is a good program. That's the whole fight about. When they come into the program and when they get the initiation, their being is like a flower. It just flowers and they're so connected. But their mind says, no, you're not going to listen. And this is not what we want. So they have the initial struggle. And after that, they settle down so beautifully. The same people who said no have said, this is the best. whether in the cruise, literally they got kicked out the satsang because they were behaving, all these teenage world, there was one set of teenagers who came to the cruise, last cruise, and they were like, in satsang they did not listen, and they said, what kind of all this is, I'm not interested. And they literally got kicked out of the satsang, and what we did is we took them and we started doing dramatics, theatre club. So they got connected. This sounds better. I don't want to go and sit in the satsang. I want to do a theatre club. And through that, we taught them the whole Prahlada story. When they enacted the whole story, by 21 days, they were literally in the space of Prahlada. And they went to Swamiji and they said, Swamiji, can I get hugs from you? And they were like every day asking for hugs and really enacting this whole Prahlada drama. They were so beautiful like flowers. When they were rebel, when they came in and they were like flowers, and Swamiji literally, one of the kid, he took the belt, his own belt, like this thick belt of Rudraj, and he said, here, what you're doing is amazing, and giving them gifts, and he was so happy with the kids. 21 days is enough for any kid to transform, whether they are a 2 years or a 15-year or 16-year, don't bother. They are kids. Whatever it is, they cannot resist two good things. So they are so beautiful. Even they have a fight and they say, no, I don't like this, and they throw a tantrum. Whatever stage they are after all kids. A 16-year-old, they have not seen life. Understand, they are kids and they will transform. So you can bring them to the program where we teach them to become authentic listeners and building their identity. Swamiji teaches them about the liberated thinking, successful leaders of tomorrow. So align them to the purpose they came here for on planet Earth. They're all living beings who have come down to planet Earth to express extraordinary things. But we just box them and call them, this is what they are, a doctor, an engineer, or a scientist. But they have come here for a bigger picture. Maybe they're going to run hospitals. We never know why we are labeling them to something we think. So let's make them a leaders. A leader is somebody who can lead anybody into any profession they want. So we make them a leader, they fit into everything. So that's what happens, and most importantly, Swamiji's initiation is the most important part, where he rewires the brain, restructures the brain physically into the next dimension, where the higher intelligence starts happening. It's like, we buy small tablets and small things, and exercise we give them for the brain to grow. It's a direct initiation where Swamiji gives them that the initiation takes them to the next level. So beautifully they expand. So beautifully they are rewired into the next dimension. So this is what happens in the Ingenious program. Now we'll go to the next question. Can you wave your hand so I understand who's going to ask the next question? Yeah, if you could email, because too many people are asking. So if you could email the question, we can read out the question and I can explain the answer. So this is one of the mom asking a question. They're asking a question about the alcohol and the drugs and all. How do we bring them back? I understand it's a very difficult thing. It depends on how much they have got involved in the whole process, how much they are into all these things. If you could bring them to Kalpatru first, kind of introduce them, and Swamiji can guide them. If they are really into serious things, he can guide them. And if they are below 16 or just 16 years, it's pretty easy to get them out. It's I know many people, but just I can tell you an example of one of the parent of the Gurukul kid who was 25 years into all this alcohol and all these issues. just by one initiation, he was able to just drop it. Again, it's just a rewiring in the brain and how we understand our life, how we perceive the whole thing, right? So when he initiates and he just fixes that problem, like no, there's a issue and he just fixes, it just gets solved, and the parent was able to do it in just one day. Not only him, we have had kids who are drugs, who are alcoholism, but in a mediocre way, where they were able to get out of it very quickly. That's what I say level 3. Who are initial stages into all these things, we can help them through very quickly. And we have had kids and they have shared so many things which they have not even shared with the parents. They have shared with Swamiji. And Swamiji has cleared and made a new being out of them. So it's wonderful process. If you could bring them, we can really work on them and help them out of all these things. First, let's get them out of all these things and align them, and then the parent starts taking responsibility. The questions that we have asked, if you can take the responsibility and a commitment to stand by them, with their friends, with their life, then extraordinary things starts happening. They start transforming into who they have to be. So saying that, it's very possible. The first step is to, if you can bring them to Kalpatru, or if you can bring them to the program, we can start working with the child. But you need to really help them and guide these children, because we don't know what level you're talking about right now. If it is a level 1, it's pretty easy. That no, if I'm talking about level 1 of the just got initiated to the drugs and the alcohol and all that, we can easily guide them out. But if they are intense into it, then we need to help them much deeper, and you can bring to Swamiji and ask for his guidance. And if they are below 16, it's very fast. They get out of all these things, because we have had kids and they have completely got out of it. They become amazing kids. There are kids who have gone right from that to joining Gurukul itself. We have seen such transformation happening. So they have left everything. They said, I want to stay with Swamiji. I want to be in Gurukul. I want to learn something more. And I want to have a lifestyle how it is here. I'm so complete. So that's wonderful. And we have the next question from Melbourne. They forgot the question. Sorry. Okay. I've just got the email, but there was no question. Yeah, if they could, from Baladharananda, if they could share the question. I think they missed the question in the mail. So the 3 answers for the question that we just asked. So the defensive behavior, this parent is telling how they've been pushy. They have been very pushy with the child, and because of that, the child always rebels. Whenever they say anything, take this thing and put it away, they just fight with the parent. And for everything, it's more of no fight between the teen. So that's what they're saying. And the second question, as a teen itself, they themselves were a rebel. Most often not, you will see a mirror of yourself, how you were in the teen, how the child is behaving. If you were more of a rebel, then you will see the child also like that. If you were more of a you wanted to be very creative, then you see the child mostly of that. So you will see the child pretty much in the same space, because you worked, you're intense like this. See, when you are pushed, when you're really upset, and that time somebody comes and pushes you further. So who you are, right? The same thing is the whole life. The teen is the best big picture of who we are. How we set the identity there, we hold that very strong. If we hold the identity as a context, as a purpose, that is what I say, a context, a purpose, then we will hold that for our life. if we hold identity that I need security, I'm insecure, or I'm very violent, or I'm going to be very innovative, whatever we hold, that is exactly how we are going to hold our life. So it's like an exaggeration done on our life. Our teen is the most important part of our life. So that few years, we just build ourselves, the identity who we are, and that runs the whole of our life. And that time it's exaggerated, a big picture of us is shown. So if we can understand our teen, we can really get to complete that and start living out of a purpose, which will be more satisfying in our life. So the third question, taking responsibility. Yes, they're going to take a responsibility about their child, and they're going to have the timely with the child. I'll explain that process soon. I've not explained what is a timely with your children and children's friend. So I'll explain that process. And standing by and taking responsibility in bringing responsibilism in their life. Yes, that's a very important, very good thing, very good point. They can bring the responsibilism in the children's life. So by being an active partner to them. See, once they are bigger than their shoulder, they are friends. So you have to become an active partners for them. Instead of them having a friends outside, become their own friends at home and start making a connect relationship, that how a friend would behave, rather than telling them this you have to do and this is what you're wrong, always you're going crazy. You can share it in the context of friends, but if you share it in the context of a boss, then you're going to be in trouble. They're not going to be in trouble, you're going to be in trouble. So make them understand that you are a listener, good listener. You have a shoulder for them to lean on, and they can make mistakes and come and tell you everything. They should not feel that they are something different, and you are here as a boss and finding faults in them. It should not be that kind of a relationship. So if you maintain that, that's wonderful. You're able to guide them in a beautiful space. So saying that, I want to go to the next thing. I want to show a video before we get other questions. I just want to show a video. This is a beautiful video. Oh, Gautama's ready. Sorry, Gautamananda from New Zealand has a question. So let's take that question, and then we'll go to the video that I wanted to show. Yes, Gautamaya.
Can you hear Gautama?
Just in a minute.
Can you hear Gautama, ma? Okay, ma, the question is, you mentioned that you're not supposed to give a child too much exposure and too many possibilities. So I mean, too much of exposure to the child. So how are we gonna? Why is that giving too much of? What is shrinking? What's the shrinking quality? What is the expanding quality? Because they're eventually going to learn that from other kids and other society, like girlfriends and boyfriends and all the other things. So how are we going to prevent that? I mean, we are not going to be able to prevent that anyway, right?
Nithyananda. So I'm not saying you cannot give too much exposure. They are going to be exposed. The society is going to show them all the factors. I'm only telling you to make them be decisive. They have to be very clear about everything. step they take.
It's a girlfriend, boyfriend,
Because they have to
they
have
have
the
to
right
have the right
understanding what happens if they have their girlfriend, boyfriend in the society. They're going to get into the wrong ideas of society, which is not required right now for them. Right now, they need to align to the higher dimensions they need to set. First, the stage needs to be set, and then they can perform on the stage. It's like they're trying to start living a life without a stage, which is going to be Nityanandam, one way they are able to hear Madhved. Nityanandam. So that's what Madhved was saying. The dilemma is the root of ignorance. Okay, Madhved is going to just give a couple of minutes so that the one way is connected back. Madhved is completing. Great. Now they are able to hear Madhved. Thank you. Thank you for waiting for Madhved. So the main three statements you need to remember is the dilemma is the root of ignorance. And Swami beautifully puts it, decisions moves the wheel of dharma. It's so powerful. Any decision you make and which is very tangible, no purposeful, that somebody can question us, then the authenticity comes out, that we have to be authentic because the other person is going to question me, right? So then we have to stand by the authenticity. Again and again, we standing by authenticity, when we commit to something, life happens in us. We start expanding, we start becoming more responsible, clarity happens. What is the purpose of the clarity? We become so sure of life. We break the impossibility, get into the possibility of life. When I know anything is possible in my space, I become the leader. I become the enlightened being. I become the possibility of the world. Because now I know that anything I can do it. How I start? Start from little decisions that I started committing to. Small decisions when I commit, I bring a new dimension into me that I am responsible and I am authentic. When you bring the four tattvas, integrity, authenticity, responsibility, I start enriching myself and the world, and I start becoming the leader. It's so beautiful how everything aligns to this four tattvas that Swamiji has given us. 4 powers of life. And really, tangibly, today we can see in the teenage program how beautifully, how authentically we become when we start committing to decisions in our life. I am committed. There will be so many storms happening when we take a decision. No impossibilities happening, but we stand and complete it to the end, whether we make a mistake or we really become successful. When again and again we become successful after years in life, we start understanding that life is amazing, that we can replicate our success because we are now leaders of that. I am so sure. So we have one more question. We'll take that before going into the video that I want to show. This is from Hong Kong. Some parents always speak negative words to their teenagers in conflict. So how to explain to these parents and suggest them practically what they can do instead of those negative words? The parents who fight with the kids, abuse them, hit them, they have to understand, first we need to work on these parents itself. Get them to a completion. Why do they say the negative words? Because they're so incomplete. They themselves are fighting with their own teenage issues. So them talking to the kids is the secondary issue. Sit with them, become their friends, and get them to complete. Make them part of your team, Lee. Let them attend few sessions with you, few sessions with Swamiji, the webinars, anything that you can bring them to complete them. Because right away you tell them, no, they should not abuse their kid. It's not practically possible. They don't know any other way. Unfortunately, something runs their life which they are not in control. So no point in blaming them. So first we need to guide them, help them, to get them to a little state of completion. So they start understanding, oh my God, I need to reflect back to myself first. When they start living in that space, then you can guide them to listen to their kids. Because they are not in the listening to themselves, you cannot make them to listen to the children. So it's not to blame them. It's abusing is happening because they are unconscious. They did not get a guidance that we got today from Swamiji, that how beautiful we start understanding life. So the whole words that occur from our mouths is because from the space we hold. So when we are complete, when I'm happy, I cannot abuse anybody. But where is that happiness? Why are we happy? Because of the completion space that we understand today. So let's share with our Timili and make them part of our Timili and slowly guide them. And slowly they'll understand what's life, what is commitment, what is happening in their life, and then they will get out of their incompletions. And slowly they'll start listening to themselves, which will guide them to listen to their kids. So straight away, if you go and tell them it's going to hurt the kids, if you go say the negative words, you can do that in a little sense of their listening by showing that Dr. Emoto. Dr. Emoto has beautifully brought out this research on water. What happens to the water crystal, what happens to the plants or food when negative words are repeatedly told. But that is to one extent. You're just telling them this is wrong, but they're not able to know what else to do. They will be lost. So the best process you can show them, there's beautiful Dr. Emoto CDs on the YouTube, which you can show them. And also guide them to your Timili and make them feel complete. That would be the right result of the whole thing. Thank you so much. I really want to go to the video now. I want to play the video. First you see the video and then I'll explain the Timili process and what you need to do and taking responsibility. Wow. Nithyanandam? Nithyanandam? So understand this video correctly. Don't push your child. That is not the context here. You're not an eagle to push. Please be very clear. First thing, everybody sees the video, the training, they say, yes, we push them, they're not doing. No. Don't get in the wrong context. You're not going to push. You're not an eagle. But build their purpose. That is where you have to take responsibility. Building their whole authentic space. Building their identity, where you have to take a responsibility and letting them, the Timely process that I was saying, I'm going to say, it's a beautiful completion process. They can sit with their friends and help as a group to take projects, live projects in society. For example, this kid who did not want to come to engineers, and now he is very fond. He comes and asks me, Ma, wait, I want to have a team. What I'm going to do is help the other teen understand the purpose of life. I said, wow, that's the best thing you can ever do. And he is forming the engineers teen team, Teen Timely, I could say. And he wants to help other teens who can come and complete with them, talk to them. He said, anytime you can let them talk to me, Madhvaid. And I can help them, whatever. How do I help them? What do I do? And then I said, we can form a team and anybody can call you and help you, talk to you and understand why you need to be responsible. And he becomes that he has taken that as responsibility itself. Such a beautiful team he is forming. Like that, you can sit with your friends, the friends of your child, and take responsibilism as a teamly, where you have to find a way to complete and make them understand their own purpose. Whether they want to know how the things flew in the Vedic age, they want to do a research or such hard things, or they want to understand how to make a difference in life and others. Whatever they want to take, it's perfect. But form the teamly and let them be in completion. Take that as your responsibility in helping them build the authentic responsibility. What they're going to do. What is the next few days they're going to take up. What is the big picture in their team. If you have a purpose in their team, then they will not be distracted into going to other requirements which is not necessary now. Now I'm so fulfilled. Why would I look for a chocolate? I'm so happy. I'm already feeling sweetness in my tongue. So I'm craving for a chocolate. So like that, if they're fulfilled, now you have responsibility for not pushing your child, but building the identity, the purpose. Even the eagle, if you have seen, the purpose of their life should be shown to them. That is our main responsibility as our parents. You can also bring them to engineers where we build it beautifully and give it to you. Inside them, it's just a 21 days where they spend with us, and we form a big Timely. We have like, even this time, about 50 kids all over the world coming in, 50 to 60 kids. So beautifully, they're going to form Timely. That's what happened in Varanasi. They formed the Timely, and they were able to understand the purpose of life. Where they are, what they are. If you don't give them the direction, where would they go? What would happen? These teens are confused and they get into the wrong picture. The teen doesn't start from 15. The teen starts from 10 years. So understand, as old as 10 years, need the guidance. As I said, now the world, India is a young place. Now especially, and all over the world, it's a young place. The teens and the 25-year-olds are the maximum. So now we have to groom them into the right purpose of life. When all of them align for the right purpose, we're going to have a new planet Earth. That's for sure. But when we don't take responsibility, then it's going to be very difficult for you and for rest of their life. The rest of the life is in chaos. So we can help you build this whole steps so beautifully for them, and whole thing can be understood in a very nice manner, and whole thing they can align for the higher purpose. So bring the team. Every week have your friend teamly time, and then bring them and then get them involved into a right purpose. Have them in a completion group. If you tell them you have to sit and complete with each other, their teens are not going to listen to you. So bring them to a project where they will have issues, and through those issues and steps they need to take, you can bring completion. To do a teen completion, it's not easy. You just can't say every night, I'm going to sit over the dinner table and ask you what you did today. They'll say nothing. So simply don't try out that. Their friends, and bring their friends into the context of their listening. Give authentic listening to where they are. And then make a bridge of helping them out in the projects that they want to do. And really they will start understanding your core purpose is to bring them to real life understanding and purpose of their reality. You're aligning them to their reality to become the leaders of tomorrow. They will start understanding that when you are authentic to your commitment, so when you take, that is the best gift you can give. And you can start that with an engineer's program, so they have the clarity, and then take responsibility. We have Bangalore moms in this very webinar, where they have now taken up responsibility for their kids, understood where they stand, what their issue, how their issue. Now bring their own friends, whether they're 40 or 3-year, don't bother. You cannot ask them, why are you bringing girlfriends, why are you bringing a 40-year-old? Don't confuse them. Whatever they say as friends, bring their friends and form a better projects for them. Bring them into purpose of life. What is that they want? Let them commit to something, make some decisions. Then the completion will simply happen. Or you give them some projects, okay, in the neighborhood, let's do this. No, they'll simply be happy to do something. But we have to take that initiative to be responsible in guiding them, making them do decisions. If we don't stand up by a teenager, then it's whole thing. If they have a purpose of a basketball or a tennis or a badminton, into that. Bring friends into what they can do. Take a picture, take a whole video, and then help them to guide them to become a better player. So wherever they are, align that. If they don't have a purpose, then you align them. Let's make a project here. No, let's do this as a project on Facebook. So they will really love it. They want more people in their life. They want to do more things in their life. I told you, right? They have 200 monkey energy. So now you have to drop your laziness and get them to align to what they can do. When you start guiding, being a guide to them and helping them to understand their own purpose by them making small decisions, by them making a project plan, by them executing the project, let them do it and let them mess up. Don't bother about all that. But are they making decision? Are they being authentic? Align that part, guide that part of it. And then you'll see a transformation happening. But that the mother has to take, or the father has to take, or somebody in the house has to take that responsibility. That is the push, not going and pushing them. We are not eagles, right? So we will take that responsibility of bringing the teamly completion happening in them. You can bring their school friends one week. You can bring them home friends, their neighborhood. Have a party. You can have even movies. No, you can have some movies which will bring an understanding. There's so many good movies available in the Vedic space, or you can bring some movies from the cartoon also, which will expand them. Even Mahabharata, if you can understand, if you're watching that, you can bring even that, how the players are doing strategic game. If you really explain to them, they will be feeling wow about that. Because they don't understand these things in their context. They think these things are some olden day gimmicks, something is happening, we don't want to listen to all these things. But if they know such deep strategies are given in those stories, if you understand, and then you can give them the explanation. Some process, some teamly process that needs to go on. When this is gone, this is very important completion. That is what you have to commit to. That is what you have to align to. Help them make decisions, help them to get out of their laziness by taking some responsibility, not forcing them to take, but where they exist and what they want to do. In that, they will surely expand. If they want to write a book or they want to go and explore some forest, help them to make that as a possibility, which is possible and which is not dangerous. Of course, not their fantasies. But I'm telling in the context of what is possible, you can create really things where they can take up projects. They have lots of energy. Sit with them, talk to them, get connected to them, play some games, card games, get them some chips and whatever they want, and connect to them where they exist. It's very important. First, we build a trust where they exist. And then take the responsibilism, you taking responsibilism, first you becoming authentic in their life. That is surely, whoever they are, whatever drug addict and all that, they'll simply drop. If it is very difficult, you can first bring them to the engineers program. We'll align them, we'll structure them, and then give it to you. Then you can start aligning them for the next step so that they don't land up in the wrong path of life. If they're going to land up in the wrong path of life, then nothing can help out. So first, we bring them as a team, as teamly process, and take responsibility for their friends and make them responsible for a project, make them decide, and once they start doing that, they will come back and tell you, Mama or Dada, this is such an amazing thing. Nowadays, I'm so clear what I want to do, what is right for me, what is not right for me. These were the results which we have seen. They are very clear and they know what they need to do. And you can really question them in a very subtle, authentic space, and they'll say, yes, I know I was just little greedy, I'll align back. They'll be able to say these things. I've seen these Gurukul kids come back and tell, yes, Madhvait, I was not in the teamly process. I want to be a better leader than him. That's why I started taking, my own stands and all that. They start telling everything openly. They start becoming, communication starts opening up. And because it is in the context of their friends, it's so beautifully, they are able to understand what's going on with them, what's going on with others, how the leaderships really take a form, and why it has to be a team. Because suddenly they want to be alone. Now, they want to be away from family. Now you bring the friends itself as part of family. Now they are confused. No, they thought they're all alone. Now you have a big family and you have to be responsible for this. Oh my God, what's happening here? So, slowly invite their friends into the family, get them part of the family. You want to nail some picture on the wall, or you want to paint a wall. Bring their friends into the whole family things. And then you'll see them as also part of your family and slowly bring them to the project. Don't anything force fit them. They are not going to listen to you. Go in the way they would like to, and they would like to be part of things. In an authentic space. They are kids, so they are very authentic. Whatever be it, they are kids. So till 18, they are going to be authentic. Now you have to become authentic into what you're doing, not just to bribe them or not trying to do something. You authentically take responsibility and start bringing the whole family, the friends, and then start interacting. Don't bring their family and start interacting with the family and you go away, again the friends are left to do what they want. No, that is not the process. This is not a potluck where we have our adult conversation and the kids go on. It's not that process. Bring the friends, you become teamly of their friends, you take the whole thing guiding them into them making decision, taking a project, becoming responsibility in whatever they are doing, whatever they can choose, but align them to something and then drive them. That is the passion. Here we have lots of passion hours, and then we have the guides as bigger kids. They have to guide all the smaller kids, and so many things happen. The responsibility is continuously happening, and continuously they have to make decisions. Then they come back and say, oh, I made a wrong decision, I made this decision. So again and again they are making decisions in their lives. They become clear, they become so sure, the so sure factor. No, you're so sure certain things are going to happen in your life, right? They become so sure of the possibility in their life. No, they can take up a project in the neighborhood. So many things that they can take up, but you have to be responsible in making it a reality for them. Then they start seeing the inner satisfaction happening. Oh my God, there's something more in life. Then they start connecting to you and start talking in deeper sense. Mama, Dada, what is this which is going on? There's something new happening in my life, but I like it, but I don't understand what's going on. And I'm so fulfilled, I'm not doing so many things. I'm not in the Facebook so many hours, or I'm not with my girlfriend, but still I feel so complete. So they'll start sharing the real sense of who they are, and they start understanding who they are. When you become friends with them and become a friends of their Timely, all this expansion starts happening. So this is one of the things which I want to share, the completion process itself. And the next thing you can do, the much beautiful thing that is available, is the Nithyananda Bala Vidyalaya. I know some of you already know about it. This is a program, a weekend program, where we have this 4 Tattva classes: integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching. Classes conducted by one of the parents. Anybody can conduct it. It's just a download away. Anybody can conduct it, and you can bring them to the same concept. All of us are living in different places, so the online classes are also available. If you're suppose in different part of the world and you need to subscribe for the class and you don't have a teacher, we have teacher all over the world. They can do the session online. All you need to bring is the friends and the kids in front of them, the internet connection. And like what we do parenting, you can start talking to them and getting the whole thing for your kids also, a teacher for your kids also. So Nithyananda Bala Vidyalaya, what happens in that is, again we reiterate these things. We give workshops to the kids where they do some workshops where they start understanding themselves. Nithyananda Bala Vidyalaya is a continuous education. Usually we say, first they come to the engineers, they get the whole picture aligned. And whether it is a 2-year-old or 12-year-old or a 15-year-old, first we align, rewire their brain, give them the right understanding, give them the right picture of life, and then continuously guide them. Not just leave them. We become a coach of their life. Engineers is not just a program for 21 days and then that's it. It's a coach for their life. Till they are in the enlightened space, we're going to coach them continuously as a coach. And this is the largest educational program right now available all over the world. We have at least about 30-40 centers all over the world where they're conducting this program for the kids. And it's a beautiful thing. The person who conducts also learns a lot. Like Swamiji says, the teachers learn from the kids, like I learn from my Gurukul kids that I'm sharing today. So they learn a lot from the kids, and conducting the workshops, all this bring a transformation in the child. All this brings a lifestyle for your child. So you can take the help of this Bala Vidyalaya classes also. And slowly you'll start this child getting more integrated, being more authentic, able to decide their life. In small things, you'll start seeing the change. And then once you guide them through the next step, they'll become the leaders. And we have seen this happen in Gurukul. The kids are amazing because we took the small steps. Like this eagle took the small step of pushing. We took the small steps of creating this Bala Vidyalaya classes, giving them small projects, bringing the kids and their friends together, having them to talk to each other, building up projects, and asking them to take the possibility of how to make it happen. They have small projects to make. The Gurukul kids teach Toronto Center, right? So they have some small project. They have really transformed the children in Toronto. They are out in Bangalore, but they talk every week to the kids again and again, bring them the right understanding, align them to the authentic space, teach them what is liberated thinking. They're able to bring a transformation in those children. So that is what we are telling about, small steps that we need to take. All you need to do is arrange for the class, take the responsibility to make their friends also come in as a group, sit with them, make some projects, get them to this Balavidyala class. If it is possible, if they can get to the engineers program itself, it's the best. It's a vaccination that needs to be given. Nowadays, you cannot control the Facebook, or you cannot control the YouTube or anything. All you need to give is the right understanding. No fear will work, no greed will work. They'll get into rebel mode. If you give them fear or greed, they'll become more rebellious. If you give them the right understanding and guide them through the whole program and coach them through their life, like how you do for their education, right? You spend so much of time, energy, money, and everything of your life to give them the right education, the knowledge, the facts, which can be Googled and found out. Give them the life education, which is what is going to hold them. The life education is required for every child. Now the parents are getting awakened to this concept. That's why we have hundreds of kids coming to Balavidyala class and engineers, because we have to give this education to protect them. Life is too dangerous out there. The society is going to expose them to every possibility. How you're going to hold them? The education of maths, physics, chemistry is not going to hold them. But you have to give them life education and become their coach. No, consistently they have to be connected. Otherwise, if they get dropped out, bring them back again. Like you give a vaccine not just once, for 5 years. For example, chickenpox vaccine, I had to give my son literally like 3 times. No, when he's 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, like that. So bring them again and again to this engineers program where we can align them and give them the best possibility to your child. And then take them forward through this Balavidyalaya classes, and you helping from that side about the completion process. Very important is the completion process with their friends, so that they talk their world out. Otherwise, teens don't talk their world out. They are in their own zone called teens. And then the rest of the life starts like that. Rest of the life starts from a teenage. What runs you as a teenager runs your life for your rest of the life, becomes like that. So you have to break all the incompletion right then and there. If you are able to do that and teamly completion, they become powerful leaders of tomorrow. They become amazing, something to move everybody. When they speak, everybody will be moved. That's what happens. It's like the whole world will start aligning to what they want to do. They become what they want to be, and they bring out the same difference in others by being a leader and a guide. So all this, the enlightened child, can be done in every home. All we need to follow is few steps, and that's pretty easy. When the eagle can do, we can do much better. The eagle has so much of completion, and it takes so much of steps to make the birds fly. We can also take the steps today to make these kids into the amazing possibility. So we can again and again bring the families for this parenting program also. Please bring their friends, parents also to the program, so that we can guide them also into the same process. The parents also will start understanding how dangerous it is for the world, them to just get exposed to the world, versus how it is so beautiful where we are guiding them to become a responsible leaders of tomorrow. So you can bring their friends, families also to the program. The next parenting program most likely will be in August. And we'll shorten the timing also, because we have seen that 3 hours has been long. So we can shorten the time also of the program, and we'll be presenting more webinars about different topics. You can bring them. They can learn the whole parenting process. See, each and every concept we share here, it's a big, like a volume. I'm trying to bring that in like 2 hours, 3 hours session. It's very difficult. But if you implement all this, you can have your own Gurukul kid at your home. You don't have to bring them all the way and they have to be trained here. We are starting Gurukul all over India, in many places, in Mumbai, in Hosur, we are working on all the details. So you can start your own Gurukul at your own home by starting this Nithyananda Bala Vidyalaya and bringing them to Swamiji directly, and when he works on them, the completion happens simply like that. Their understanding becomes very beautiful and the responsibilism starts opening up. Now all you need to do is take them back home, put them in Vidyalaya class, align them into a project, bring their friends, take the responsibility to stand with them, not just leave them all alone half the time and then say, I don't know what's happening in their life, but take responsibilism. Let them make decision. You stand by them, take big projects, work with them, and you'll see a new teenager there. I'm sure they'll be completely listening space with you. I'm sure they'll become like one of any Bala Gurukul kid, any kid. Anything you say, they listen. What an amazing kid. What can a kid be like that? Whether it is a 5-year-old or if he's a 15-year-old, simply they listen and they say, when you give the right understanding, they are there to do anything. They don't rebel, they don't say no, nothing. How they are able to drop their incompletions, how they are able to work is because this is how we have built it. Over time, we have built it. It just takes 1 year, 6 months, that's all. But when we start doing the completion, when we start taking responsibility, they are able to perform so beautiful. I hope this session has helped you with your teenager, and it will work amazingly when you start practicing it. And if you need help, if you need any help with your teenager, please mail to neducation@nithyananda.org. It is education@nithyananda.org is the email. You can send any mail anytime. I'm available to talk to you. We'll get in touch with you. We'll work one-to-one what problems you're facing with your teenager, guide you, and take you to the listening, make the teenager listen to you. It's a very beautiful space that Swamiji has created here, and we have understood how beautifully to groom these kids. So that is what I'm sharing with you all today. Same thing, you can start having the same space instead of struggling, whether it is a toddler, brushing the teeth, or if it is a teenager, you can send a mail. Don't think this is a silly thing. Everything counts, whether waking them up in the morning or sending them to a school or making a teenage listen, all fall into the same picture only. So send us a mail, we can help you, we can guide you, we can take it to the next step. And if you want more details on this ingenious program that parents have asked, please contact the city coordinators, they'll be able to help you, or send a mail to Madhvait again at education@nithyananda.org. I'll be able to guide you with that also. So amazing this program is. Please share it with other friends and family in your neighborhood also. It'll be wonderful if they can also experience the same gift that we got today from Swamiji. And thanking Swamiji, I would like to end the program with Purna Mantra. Thank you, each and every one of you, whoever was there. Please send your comments, your mails. I'll reply on everything. Thank you. Nithyanandam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sadguru Padukarpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam. And thank you. And Madhvait is completing for any errors and disturbance that was there in the program. And we'll make it better for you next time. Thank you, and thank you so much for being here. Nithyanandam.